Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of After Hours. Today we've got Ashton. Ashton is, she's just a young lady, but alcohol and then predominantly cocaine became a huge, huge problem in her life. So much so that you'll hear from the conversation that it just became everything to her. It took over her life and really just she started distancing herself from everything and everyone, and just kind of pushing people away from her, because all that mattered to her was the cocaine and alcohol. And like I've said in previous episodes, none of us would have tried any of the drugs without alcohol first. Alcohol is the gateway, the catalyst that kind of leads us down these dark paths. And as we know from my experience, that cocaine and other drugs weren't a major issue in my life, but it still was there. And had it gone on longer, or had I had more money, who knows what would have happened that way. So Ashton, at such a young age to kind of realize that her life wasn't where she wanted it to be, to kind of have the foresight to get help and get herself away from that kind of scene and get away from it. I mean, those friends that kind of I suppose we're like, just come round and chill. You've done it. They're not friends. They're the ones that are trying to lead her back down that dark path. So yeah, thank you, Ashton. Sit back, listen for the similarities, and even if cocaine wasn't a major issue, or it hasn't been an issue in your life, or hasn't even ventured into your life, just still listen, because it can happen to anyone. She said no to cocaine for quite a number of, for quite a while. And then, just that time when she said yes, and as soon as it was done, she was kind of almost addicted to it, addicted to the scene, and then addicted to the drug. So yeah, take care while listening, guys. But here's Ashton. Ashton, welcome to After Hours, mate. How are you today?
I'm brilliant, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. The sun is shining here, and it looks like it is with you. So this
Brilliant,
is just,
yeah.
summer is starting off in a good kind of vibe, I think.
Mm.
Whereabouts are you based?
I'm in Nottingham, in England.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
know Nottingham quite well. Uh,
Mm.
that's on the kind of east coast, kind of just over the river, almost from Hull, is it right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, not far from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Cool.
beautiful. Down the river from there. Yeah, at the
Yeah.
River Trent.
I always think of Nottingham as the Sheriff of Nottingham, obviously Robin
Yes.
Hood and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Good.
So, yeah,
Yeah. Wherever you go, people say that. Like any country, anywhere. So everyone knows Robin Hood, and it's amazing.
exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, Ashton, so tell us a little bit about your kind of childhood, and how you grew up, and when you had your first drink, and other kind of substances as well.
So, I had quite a happy childhood.
Hmm.
Parents were together, lived in a lovely house. I think I had my first drink when I was about 13, 14.
Hmm.
And then I would drink a lot then. It wouldn't just be a drink, it would be let's go out and get absolutely wasted.
Yeah.
And that was sort of how it always went. But I'd had drinking scene in my family.
Hmm.
So sometimes, it's like learnt behaviour. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it progressed to going out to the pub, going out partying, um, until I was a full blown addict. And you don't know that until you are. And then it was sort of too late. It would be sort of at the end of my addiction. It was definitely, I can't remember a day where I'd not had alcohol or drugs.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And for the listeners, how old are you, Ashton?
I'm 30.
You're 30. So,
Mm.
it's still relatively young to be,
Mm-hmm.
realizing and doing something about addiction as well. And
Yeah,
so, I mean, obviously, I mean, I think not obviously, but a lot of people on here, it's about that 13, 14, 15 age when
yeah,
alcohol is done it. But we live in the UK, 18 is the legal age, and I think
mm,
people, it's a couple of years before, but they start experimenting with it. And so,
yeah, yeah.
when did kind of drugs kind of start happening for you? Was
Drugs
that at a young
kicked in.
age as well?
It's been when I was around 17, 18.
Hmm.
I discovered speed. So I always wanted to find a way to escape for some reason. I always had a way of escaping with drugs, and speed was the first one. And then I just went back to drinking, and then I'd hang around with people that did coke, and I said no for a
Hmm.
long time until one day I didn't, and damn, then I was hooked. It was it was then an instant learnt behaviour of when you're out with your friends and you're drinking, you buy coke, and it started off. Um, you get to the pub, have a couple of pints, then you'd get some coke. But
Yeah.
then it switched, and it was, I'm going to the pub. I've got to get some first to avoid, waiting around, to avoid the anxious waiting game for it. And then
Yeah.
it would be, in the end, I used to have it on its own. I used to just carry on. If I had some left from the night before, I'd then carry on the next day. And it got to a stage where, you know, it took over everything. So
Yeah.
talking about it now and thinking about that actually is amazing because I've not had it for 6 months. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's amazing,
Really
Ashton.
good.
Well done.
Yeah.
And
It,
so, I mean, you're saying like, for my kind of usage, it wasn't a major issue for me, but it would always be when alcohol was around, it'd be like someone would suggest, oh, should we get a bag? Should we do this? And then
yeah.
we'd get it.
It
But
started that.
it sounds
Yeah.
like to you, it started like even when there wasn't alcohol involved, like
Oh, yeah.
waking up in the morning. Yeah.
So sometimes it would get to a certain time in the day and I'd know I've got someone and it was just eat at me all day, knowing that
Yeah.
it was there, knowing that there was a bit, and it would then eat away at you until you've got a whole nother cycle of a whole nother night of
Yeah.
and just going in the cycle every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the thing with alcohol is you're drinking to oblivion, and then with me, I would pass out, or if I had a little bit of something, I would stay up. But with alcohol, I was just passing out. But whereas with
Mhm.
cocaine, you're kind of up, and you're up as long as
Yes.
you've got it.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. But I would, to balance it out, I would also drink to oblivion.
Yeah,
So it would go together. So even if I'd start and not had a drink, I would then have to then carry on drinking to level it out
yeah,
until you're to oblivion, or if it gets to a certain stage, that's where the sleeping tablets come in, and that's when you put yourself to sleep.
yeah. Wow. And it's just
Right.
using all these different things to kind of
Oh
level
god,
yourself out, and
it's got the cocktail.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, for me, like towards the end, my alcoholism, for want of a better word, was really, it was eating away at all my funds. But alcohol isn't as expensive as Coke. So, what
Yeah.
kind of things were you? What is your job? What was your job?
So I was a bar manager. Um, I just worked at pubs. Yeah, and I spent probably nearly every single penny I had on it. In the
Yeah,
end, I was paying my rent. I just didn't care. That's what
yeah.
it made like. You didn't care. You didn't. I didn't pay my rent for 2 months. I didn't pay any. I think I've only just now nearly got out of all of my arrears for, gas, electric, everything. It's only just now got about there, and I think
And are
I'm
you
fully.
still?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, are you still in the same place that you were in, or did you lose
No,
that place?
I held my hands up and I went, look, I can't do this anymore, and I went back to my parents' house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Fair
I'm
enough.
back
Fair
with
enough.
them for 2 years.
I think we've all done that. And it
Oh
does,
yeah,
you know what? It's so, some of us are so blessed that we have that kind of fallback.
yeah,
I did, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't be here without my family. And it did give
mm,
me that kind
that's
of
a,
boost to get myself back sorted. So, yeah,
yeah,
thankfully you've got that as well.
yeah. But I still did it when I went back. It still took me maybe a year, I think.
Hmm.
So no matter how much people tell you, or no matter how much people plead, or try and help you, or shout at you, it's still you can't you don't stop until you stop. That's
Hmm.
what I found happened. You can't, no matter how much you tell people. It just didn't stop until I said to myself, I physically can't do this to myself anymore.
Yeah.
No matter how much in denial you are, or how much you tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to go and have one.
Hmm.
Be fine tonight. I won't go and do coke. I'll just have one drink.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't
No.
happen.
It
So,
doesn't, does it? Because they go hand in hand, and it, as well as, if you're, are you still working in the pubs? Are you
I
still,
am.
yeah, which must be quite. We'll talk about that in a bit, but
Mhm,
I worked. That was kind of my main kind of profession all through my 20s, and I suppose my
mhm,
30s as well. And it was a good job. I loved the vibe of it. I worked in all sorts, from clubs to, like, spit and sawdust pubs. I think I
mhm.
preferred the spit and sawdust pubs, but
More
it was
character.
just a case, yeah, because I was like, at the end of the night, I could sit and have a beer with these
Yeah.
hardened drinkers,
Yeah.
and they weren't going to judge me at all.
No.
Yeah. And so, like, how did it, do you think it was a problem right from the start then? Did it just ramp up, or do you think it was just recreational and then it kind of reared its ugly head towards the end?
Towards the end, I don't know. So at the start, it was just to go out on the weekends
Yeah.
until I think maybe it got to lockdown. Um, and then I think that's when it all blew up more. Just after lockdown, I think when we had like maybe 12 or so weeks where we couldn't
Yeah.
house. I don't know exactly. And then it was from then, after that, when we were allowed to go back to normal, I just went crazy. And
Yeah.
ever since then, it sort of went from there. But it was then ended up after that. I couldn't remember when I'd not had a day, when
Mm.
I'd absolutely gone to oblivion with coke and alcohol
Yeah.
until that was until I went back to my parents' house, and it slowed down a bit then. But then I'd get into really bad cycles of doing it for maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes the Monday.
Hmm.
And I'd just do it day after day after day after day until you're just completely powerless over it, aren't you?
Yeah.
You change all the chemistry in your brain just wants that. So it
And
took a lot of
as
work.
much as cocaine is an upper for that
Mm,
period of time, it's really, the rest of the time, when you're chasing it, when you're needing it,
yeah,
it's just like any drug, isn't it? You're miserable. You're
yeah.
absolutely dead on your feet and just waiting for
Uh-huh.
that next hit and that next
Oh
drink
yeah,
or
you've
whatever.
really used every piece of dopamine that you could possibly use.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you're thinking about getting it, I used to call it the ritual. So the fun part, the best part about it was calling up the dealer, getting it. The wait was also a good bit because you wait in, you're excited,
Hmm.
and then you got the first hit, and that's about it,
Yeah.
really. And then you're
Yeah.
just chasing it all night and all night and all night.
Yeah.
So that was what it was. The ritual was it for me,
Yeah.
and it just kept chasing it and couldn't until couldn't anymore.
It's so bizarre that the actual ritual, as you say, that's not actually the taking of the drug. It's that excitement
Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
because you're going to be sated with your kind of, addiction. I remember one
mm,
time when I was just absolutely, I was obviously in withdrawal, and
mm,
my ex had gone to work, and the kids had gone to school, and I was waiting, just rattling for them to go out so I could go up to the shop and get some vodka. And I got up to the shop, literally just like falling apart. Got to the
yeah,
shop, got the vodka, had it in my jacket, and as I got out the shop and it was just in my jacket, and I knew I could go around the corner and then start swigging it. But before that, I had it in my jacket and I felt okay. Do you know what I mean? I
yeah,
felt like safe again. And that I use that
yeah,
word safe because I felt I'm about to get this drink that's gonna,
mm,
and then, once I'd had a couple of swigs, I felt all right, and then I was just
yeah,
drinking, drinking, drinking. But it's
yeah,
weird. It's that same thing, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
That's you like the whole
yeah.
wanting and the release of the dopamine or whatever before. That's what you want is to yeah,
What you need is what stops the sickness. And I guess with cocaine, if you're not the thing with cocaine and alcohol, it kind of tapers, it kind of settles the alcohol out. So you don't,
mm,
someone that's drank the same amount and had cocaine to someone that's not had the cocaine, that person's completely pissed and they look drunk, whereas you
yeah.
probably looked absolutely fine the majority of the time. So did people start saying to you, do you have a problem? Were your friends doing this as well? Or, was it just a solo
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, because I wouldn't get up sometimes until 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It was like in the end harming my work life, my family life. People begged me to stop doing it. In the end, it was yeah, it was just put my mental health down to the ground,
Yeah.
basically. What it did, absolutely
Yeah.
powerless. Mm.
And it's with me, people were saying to me towards the end, like, you need to do something about this. But I didn't want to listen to them,
No, no,
because that's going to take away not my enjoyment, it's going to take away the only thing that I can see is helping me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the thing with coke, there isn't necessarily withdrawals, but because I did the alcohol as well, and
Hmm.
you were doing the alcohol, that the shakes, the sweats, the everything you get the next day, the next few days, it takes probably what just for how much I drank and used, it would take me at least 3 or 4 days for my body temperature to get back to normal.
Hmm.
That you could feel it's been strange this year feeling winter, and I've actually felt it this year because I was that hot from constantly drinking, constantly using. I
Hmm.
know I'd had a sweat on and it'd be 4 degrees here. So
Yeah.
it's crazy what that does as well. It really is.
So you would say that you were kind of, an addict to alcohol as well then? Yeah. Yeah. Did you think?
I'd
Yeah.
say yeah, I would I would drink until there was nothing left to drink.
Yeah. And it sounds
Even
like you were having withdrawal from alcohol as well, because as you say, there's
yeah,
not really withdrawal from cocaine. It's just this
but
yearning for it almost.
yeah, even if the coke had run out, it would be drink everything in the house until oblivion,
Yeah.
and then fall asleep or put myself to sleep with tablets. Yeah, so it was that as
And it sounds like
well.
you were kind of battling the withdrawal through cold turkey each time, which is
Yeah,
it's
I
quite
was,
dangerous to do that because you can have
yeah,
seizures. I mean, I've had seizures in the past, but then
mm,
I think my ex told me she'd researched it and she said it's actually really dangerous if you're having withdrawal to stop drinking. So to me, that was like, ka-ching. She's
yeah,
going to allow me to keep drinking, in the morning. So,
yeah.
looking back, it's obviously a sad state of affairs, but
Yeah.
um,
I feel like I slept through the withdrawal.
yeah, yeah, you probably
Somehow I
did.
wake up just in a sweaty bed. It was
Well, if you're
disgusting.
using medication like Valium or whatever downers to sleep, then you probably are kind of
Yeah,
sleeping through the withdrawals. Yeah.
yeah. Thinking back, it is so unbelievably dangerous. What I used
Yeah.
to do, completely so dangerous. It, give yourself all that cocktail of things. It's yeah. I
Yeah.
don't. I used to joke. Well, not joke. It's not funny. I used to say, I think I was about 26 at the time, and I was at quite a bad stage of it. I
Hmm.
don't think I'll make it 27. You know how Kurt Cobain, Mac Miller, all them famous people died at 27.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the 27 club going, and I laughed about it. I was like laughing that I was this bad, but I never did anything about it until I was 30 years old. It
Yeah,
still took 3 years after that, even though I knew deep down from
yeah.
what it does. You just know, don't you?
It's crazy. I think some people when they're in addiction, and I did as well, we kind of almost glamorize that 27 club. I
Yeah.
was bad when I was in my 20s, and I kind of joked as well that like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it to 27, and
Yeah.
we do, but it's that whole thing. It's like we kind of look up to these kind of
Oh yeah.
sad. They're people in trouble as well. They clearly were. Kurt
Oh yeah.
Cobain, had he not been addicted to heroin, he wouldn't have blown his brains out. And
Yeah.
I think Jim Morrison, they said it was heart failure, but I'm pretty sure that there's new theories saying that he had a heroin overdose as well, which he'd never really done that. He
Wow.
was more of an alcoholic, but he was trying to get himself sorted. But his partner at the time was
Yeah.
into to heroin.
Normally
Yeah,
are trying to sort themselves out, which is sad.
yeah, yeah.
Isn't it?
It is crazy. So how did it affect your kind of work life balance? Were you in the same job the whole time? Are you still with that same bar, or
So I'm
what
very
went on
lucky.
there?
My job, I left for 3 months. Um, I actually moved away. I moved to Cheltenham. I worked with resources. So I
Hmm.
moved away for 3 months. And I thought, this is a fresh start. I still found it out there. I still did exactly the same thing out there. So maybe
Exactly.
I wasn't ready. And then my job that I'm currently at now let me back. It gave me another chance. And now I'm manager there, which is brilliant. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought, and I thank them so much for like the trust because I let them down before, and it's amazing that they gave me another chance. But before that, I probably kept a job for a month at the most, and then I was moving on to another one, turning up hungover, and
Hmm.
I was just ill in a constant cycle. So
Yeah.
it was constant for maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years going through different jobs. So,
Wow. In the same area, or was Cheltenham the only time you moved away, or
Cheltenham, yeah, Cheltenham was the only time. Yeah,
yeah. It's
I still
interesting
managed to
that
find
because
it out there.
yeah, they in and I'll ask you a minute. We when I went to NA, they have a thing called geographicals. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah,
Where yeah, so I did a lot of moving about, and I just think, I'm like a kind of bit of a hobo, a bit of a wild rover, and I would go from place to place. But what I was doing was escaping, and I would find the same people, the same types of people, and just get on it because drinks everywhere, and then there would be drugs as well. But I was still there, I was the problem. That was it. It
yeah,
wasn't like moving to a new place was going to solve it because I needed to sort out me. So yeah,
100%.
so what was the kind of crux that kind of made you think, right, I need to do something about this? And then what did you do to kind of get yourself sorted?
It was this time last year. I booked a holiday.
Hmm.
It was just before the the first June bank holiday, so it was the start of June last year. I booked a holiday, bit of an escape. I went on my own, and I think I got on it, as they say,
Hmm.
for 3, 4 days over the bank holiday, and I didn't even remember that I had a flight to go away on a holiday. And I thought, right, Ashton, you're now at a new low.
Yeah.
You've not gone on a holiday. And I was
You
like,
missed it then.
so I missed the first day's flight, and then luckily I rebooked it
Uh-huh.
for the next day. So it cost me £45. It's nothing. I've spent money on God knows what for
Yeah, 45
so
nothing.
long.
Yeah.
£45, changed the flight, went the next morning, and the come down was just insane. So I'd never felt that bad. I was in a different country, and I
Were
spent
you
two
with were
days
you with
in bed
people? Were you with friends or anything, or was it just a kind of
on,
break on
on
your own?
on my own for a little escape. But back then, I think I'd got myself that low with with taking drugs and everything that I didn't think anyone would want to come with me. That's how bad and that's how isolated it got me.
Hmm.
So I booked it to go alone. I booked it to escape. I booked it to have a break from drugs and alcohol. And yeah, first 2 days I spent in bed, except to get up to get food. And I thought, you know what? I'm here. That was really nice, all inclusive, and I ate some really good food. And I thought, you know what? I need to get some vitamins back in me. So I
Hmm.
ate all the veg, all the fruit I could eat, and just sucked water for 2 days. That's how long it took me to sort of recover.
Hmm.
I went out in the sun on the third day, and I went, I never want to feel like that ever again, ever. And I then did 100 days sober after that, and
Wow.
this was the first eye opener of you need to stay sober. You can't
Yeah.
do this to yourself anymore. So 100 days sober until I went on holiday to Spain again, and I thought I could have some wine
Mm.
because you know it doesn't
You
matter. I'm on
you
holiday. I'm not going to find it.
and you've done 100 days, Ashton. You deserve it. Why not? You know, you've got this licked. Yeah, no problem here.
Don't matter. I'm enjoying myself. And I'm
Exactly.
adamant on that holiday that I wasn't going to have a drink the first few days, and then I had a glass of wine, and I looked at someone, and when you know
Yeah.
when you know someone's on it, and you know someone does it. I
And
knew.
can get.
I looked at him, and I said, he barely spoke English, but for some reason, something in me got through, and I says, "You're on cocaine, aren't you?" And he says, "Yeah," and he gave me some. So I broke it at that. And then I think the next time I broke it was New Year's Eve. And then I just said no. From that, the New Year, new me. Well,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going for the New Year, new me this year. I'm not letting it down.
Absolutely. And to get to 6 months and 15 days is just
Mm.
astounding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've done your 100 days and then you thought, well, I'll test the waters as we do.
yeah,
I tested the waters quite a few times, I think.
mm,
And it was always murky and horrible when I went in.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but 6 months is amazing. And you mentioned about geographicals and that. Did you use any support or any kind of meetings or anything like that you've to help you along the way?
So before I've done NACA,
Hmm.
and I found I used to I wasn't quite in the right mind frame when I used to do NA and CA, and I have always meant to have gone back
Hmm.
and go to a group and get medallions and go and speak but I've never brought myself to do it. But I used to go. This was before I stopped being friends with all the people that I used with.
Yeah.
But you have to completely cut yourself off and
Yeah.
learn to get rid of them. And this is before, and so they'd ring. This is how it shows that you're not your friend. They'd
Yeah.
ring me up and say, "Have you done your group?" I'd say, "Yeah," and then they'd say, "Do you want to come round then and we'll just chill?" And it's
Mhm.
like I went to the group, did it all, got
Yeah.
my buzz out of going to the group, and then
Yeah.
went and got off my face after.
And
Um,
like you say, those aren't your friends. They
yeah.
don't, and it's a reflection on them because
Oh yeah.
they see you getting better and they think, well, I
Mm.
can't do that, so I'll just bring her back to where we are. Yeah.
That that is literally what it got to. And
Yeah.
I think now I've blocked and deleted every single person that had anything to do with me and drugs. I
Yeah.
realised that I had to do it because at the time I was just in complete denial. No, 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 it's not them. It's not them. They're fine. We don't do it all the time. We did.
Yeah.
We did. So you
And
have to any association.
well, and like with me, if they're still out there doing it, then I don't want to be associated with them. If they do come back over to this side, then you know what? I'll
Yeah,
help them. I'll be there for them. But it sounds like you're
def-
doing all the kind of the right things, the start of the 12 steps from NA without actually doing that. You've obviously picked it up from when you were there before. and done that. And you know, I was very blessed over here that my NA and CA group, they were kind of the same. They were
Mm.
hosted by the same guy, chaired by the same guy, and it was just a really good bunch of people. You know, I'm still really good friends with a lot of them, and it was very small when I started, so I feel blessed in that respect because I think a lot of the big city ones can have really toxic atmospheres. In fact, there's a
Yeah,
guy that I know up in Glasgow, and he says he goes to one. There's people selling stuff out in the car park. You know, they'll go to the meeting and they're all
that's
dry drunks or dry users, and then they'll go and sell out in the car park, and it's like,
that's on Breaking Bad, isn't it? Have you seen Breaking
yeah,
on Breaking Bad? And
it is
it
in Breaking Bad. They go and do that
shows
because they
how
think,
they did that.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's just absolute madness, but it's you know, there are people out there that don't want you to get better, but
yeah,
the only person that can really get yourself better is you, and that's kind of where it's all about. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. How long have you been sober, by the way?
It'll be 5 years in August.
Amazing. Wow, five.
Yeah.
That's very
But
admirable.
it feels like no time at all. Do you know what I mean? It's like I remember when I went to my first meeting, there was a guy there that was like, I think he was either 17 or 18 years sober and clean at that point, which was just like I was like, there was
You're
a
like,
guy
wow,
who was
yeah,
2 years. And but now, you know, like it's like I just couldn't imagine getting a week. And then I did, and then I got 30 days, and then, you know, 6 months, and
mm,
it
yeah,
just adds up. Obviously, I would love to be 10 years sober, but then I'd be 5 years older than I am now, so I don't want
yeah,
to.
yeah. I don't want to wish your life away.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
I
how
was
has
so
your life changed in the last kind of 6 months then, Ashton?
yes, definitely. I find I didn't believe in myself in any way, shape, or form before.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't have any self-esteem or anything. And you know what? Now I'm proud of myself
Yeah,
in things I do. And before, there was no way that because I do think I just didn't trust myself. I didn't go through with anything that I said I was going to do.
hmm,
I was a complete letdown, and it was like when I was sober and I'd actually talk to friends, I'd make the plan. That was just to get a dopamine fix. You'd make a plan, you'd do something, and you know, I had all good intentions of going to do it, but
hmm.
I'd then go and get off my face, let people down the next day, and that makes you feel worse.
Yeah,
So the way I feel proud and proud of my job, now I can still do cocktail menus and mocktail menus. It doesn't mean that I have to drink them. It just
yeah,
means that's what I do. And even working behind a bar now, it's just no, I don't. I just serve it, and it's crazy how, you
yeah,
know, before it would have got to maybe 2, 3 in the afternoon at the weekends, and there's no doubt about it that I haven't got half a pint of beer in my hand, and I've started from then.
hmm,
So from now, I'd do loads of walks and just get outside and just have amazing friends now that is slowly picking back up, and it's just brilliant.
yeah.
From
And friends that aren't doing
yeah,
what you were doing. And yeah, I mean,
oh,
I think so commendable to you, Ashton, that you're still working in a bar. I mean, it took me a while before I could go back into bars, and now I'm just like, it's probably my age as well. I don't really have any real need to go into a bar unless we're maybe going for, you know, a Sunday roast or it's a friend's
yeah,
birthday. I won't just go into a bar to meet someone for a catch up. You know, I'd rather go to a coffee shop or whatever.
yeah, oh, yeah, definitely,
But you
yeah.
know, you're still young as well, so I guess, you know, your friends still like to kind of go out. Do you go out and kind of have social gatherings or parties or anything like that? Are you steering
Uh,
clear of that just now?
absolutely no. There's no way that I keep saying I want to go to a sober festival, but
Yeah,
there's no way I'd put myself through it, to be honest. At the
yeah,
moment, I no, don't think it would be. Although I put myself in a pub every day,
yeah,
I don't think. So I only have maybe 3 or 4 friends, and none of them really drink. And when they
yeah.
do, I say, you know, you go and do that, and I'll see you tomorrow,
Hmm.
or um, you know. I don't have any problem with anyone doing it, but that's not for me anymore. And
No.
you have to accept.
And that's good. I mean, the thing is with working, I guess you're able to kind of make that line where this is your job, you're being professional, you know,
Yeah,
and all you're doing is you're behind the bar, you're serving drinks.
yeah,
I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier to not have a drink because you're working and you're the manager, so you want to have a, you know, a good kind of example to set your staff as well.
yeah. That's what's helped me.
But
Actually, yeah.
completely commendable because I mean, I did kind of almost become a hermit for the first year, I suppose.
Mm,
I did socialize with my sober buddies. We went to coffee and we had a Christmas event one year. There was about 15 of us, I think, and we went for pizza. And it was a great night out. I never laughed so much in my life, but you know, I did steer clear of going to kind of social events. I'm doing it a lot
yeah,
more now, but as I say, I'm kind of, you know, 5 years down the line. So yeah,
yeah,
good on you for kind of staying away from that at this point. Do
yeah.
you use any kind of alcohol-free stuff at all, or are you steering clear of them as well?
I don't tend to like the taste of it.
No.
Um, I think there's not really. I'd rather just have a Diet Coke, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm the same
So
as you.
busy and
I
uh,
have had them, but I think for me, like I didn't drink because I liked the taste of it. I drank to get wasted. So these things don't
yeah,
get me wasted. So, you know, which is a good
no,
thing.
no,
I
sure,
don't,
that's the point.
yeah,
That you like. Yeah, no, it's exactly the same.
I'd
Drink to
rather
get
just
an
have a
eye.
cordial.
That's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
tried them, but they just. I think they're a bit too much like the real thing,
Hmm.
but not like I feel like I'm cheating it. See,
Yeah.
I do not want to sip or taste or smell alcohol.
Yeah.
It just reminds me instantly of the absolute torture I put myself through.
Yeah.
So why am I going to fake drink it
Yeah.
when
It's
everyone
interesting.
has their own way of doing it? But that's for
Well,
me.
exactly. I mean, I quite like the zero Guinness, but
Oh
again, I
yeah,
have a bit of a problem with alcohol companies now, so I'm a bit like, why do I want to be giving them money for, you know, making a fake drink? But
very true. Yeah,
beer was not really something I got drunk on unless I had
mm,
to. You know what I mean? I would always quickly move on to the spirits or just
yeah.
start on the spirits.
Oh yeah.
And I believe there's a alcohol-free vodka out there, but
Oh wow.
there's no way I would. Yeah, there's like gins, there's vodkas, there's
Yeah.
whiskeys, there's rums, there's everything. But there's no way I'm going to try that because
No,
A,
it's too. I think
what's the point?
Sorry, go
And
on.
and B, it might be triggering. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
it's very too
Um,
similar.
so why do you think that you became addicted? You know, I mean, obviously cocaine is a very Moorish drug, but do you
Yeah,
think why do you think you needed that kind of escapism?
I think I escaped the dopamine. I escape. I always try and escape myself. I think.
Hmm.
Um, I've just started therapy
Right.
uh, as well. Um, I think some things, the self belief. I think that's what I did. I tried to escape myself,
Hmm.
pretty much, and and then when you get to sobriety, you have to really find yourself, and it's hard, tough days, but you also have amazing days. So you thank yourself for not doing, but it was always an escapism thing,
Yeah,
always.
absolutely the same. And you know, I haven't done any therapy, but I do. Well, not done
Mm,
therapy myself, but I'm learning, you know, about CBT and things like that. And I think, you know, a lot of my
yeah,
problem was I wasn't fulfilled in my job. I used to do all these kind of office admin jobs, temping and this, that, and the other. I was just miserable,
yeah.
so I wasn't fulfilled. Now I've got my own gardening company, and I love it, you know. And I don't know, maybe
Well,
if I'd done that years ago, I would have not turned to the drink quite as much, or you know, was it relationships? I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint. I think it was a mixture
mm,
of all of the things, you know, that were kind of not right in my life that then
yeah,
it was an easy escape to just get obliterated. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Um,
yeah. Yes,
yeah.
sometimes it builds more when you stop, and that's your real dream. It's when you put the drink down. and then really do your dreams. And well done to you. I love gardening as well.
Yeah,
Mr.
thank you. I
Greenfinger.
mean, I love it when the weather's like this and everyone says, "Oh, I really love your job. I'm so jealous of your job," and things like that. And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't say that in the middle of winter when I'm out there with all my
No,
waterproofs on, weeding in the absolute mud up to my knees and stuff." So,
but
yeah. Ashton, do you think that alcohol? I mean, I know drugs are legal, are illegal, but do you think alcohol still has a place in our society today?
oh, that's a good question. I think if alcohol was invented today,
Hmm.
it would definitely be, a class A, class B drug.
Yeah,
But they obviously can't ban it because of tax reasons, but the amount it costs the NHS and the amount of trouble that it causes people,
yeah,
I don't think it is. And I've noticed actually working in pubs that people aren't drinking as much anymore. People are waking up to it.
yeah, yeah,
It's good. People are wanting to look after themselves more. And what you were brainwashed before, when alcohol, was shown, people are really seeing it now that it's not good for you,
yeah.
which is good.
It is good, and that's what I was going to say as well. Because when I get people on, they're normally around my age, and obviously you being 30, you're of a younger generation than me. Do you think there is a shift of younger people not drinking as much and not getting as smashed as we used to?
Yeah. So I see it in cocktail sales, mocktails. The mocktails sell now more than cocktails at work.
Wow.
All I do is design mocktail menus. We
Yeah,
do mocktails. It's just people ask for them more.
yeah,
It's people don't people don't want to feel bad anymore, and yeah, it's a lot of uni students I know now. All know watch what they drink, and a lot of people are going sober,
yeah.
so it's
And I
great.
think, people don't like to be out of control as much anymore. The world's always been dangerous, but I think there's a lot
Mm,
more predatory type people out there,
yeah,
especially, females have to be wary of what's going on about them. So if they're getting smashed, it's so dangerous out there. So I think people are getting a bit more savvy in that respect.
I was,
Is your bar in a kind of student area at all then in Nottingham?
no, it's out in the countryside.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
they're, they're quite a chilled place, but we do events and have weddings and all sorts. So there's a lot of alcohol around, but
Hmm.
no, but so I work with the students, so that's when I see it.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
students were a lot of them don't drink. They're like, one of them went to a festival the other day and said, "I know I didn't drink that much," and I was like, "Brilliant,
yeah.
good on you."
And
Because
they can
people are
have that.
like, "Oh."
Yeah, because it's weird. So are they still doing like kind of, I guess Freshers Week is still a thing, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's probably not quite as mental as it was back in the
no,
day. It's yeah, and I think also with I've said it before, when I was a student or drinking back in the day, people couldn't just whip out their phones and record me being, a bit of a knob, doing drunken antics. So, I could kind of get away with it, but nowadays you can't get away with it as much because people just film you if you're being a knob.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it gets put on TikTok or something, and then you get laughed at.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it just, yeah, it could just destroy people. Like they're
yeah,
just like, so I think people are like, I'd rather be in control, not get
yeah.
completely wasted, have a few drinks, and then go home at the end of the
Mm.
night. And you know what? Would I wish that I could do that? I don't know. So if you could go back to when, alcohol and drugs kind of started becoming a problem and you had two paths in front of you, one, the path you're on now, where you're now nearly 6 months sober, or the other
Mhm.
path that you just don't drink and take drugs, which path would you take, Ashton?
I would say this one.
Yeah, yeah,
It's woke me up
yeah.
to. It makes you. I think sometimes you have to get to a stage where you have to have under to have experienced the bad bit to get to the good bit, to learn about yourself, to work on yourself, to get therapy, to understand life more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't be the person that you are now. We've
No,
all we've all
definitely
had
not.
lived experience now. It's taken me a while. People were saying to me way back, oh, we're doing this course at Motivate, where, Motivate's one of our addiction charities over here, the main addiction charity. And people had started asking me, I think when I was maybe about 18 months, 2 years sober, we're starting up this peer mentoring course. And I just said, I'm not ready for that yet, but I will do it eventually. So I just qualified last year. And I'm still doing it just part time, but I love it, and it keeps me steeped in the kind of recovery world, obviously on my
Yeah,
Instagram with the podcast and then
yeah,
doing that. I need to be joined with it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to just get sober and go, right, that's that done. I need
yeah,
to still be part of it, because people
definitely.
helped me, and this is what the podcast is for. It's to help other people.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
sweet. I find that with Instagram, you'll have just a random person message you on it, and you know what? You'll have so much in common with your
Yeah.
recovery, and you can then talk to them every day. I've got a woman in America that I talk to all the time,
Yeah.
such a lovely woman, and we just relate. And that's what you find when you work in recovery and when you work with your charity. It
Mhm.
just feels good, doesn't it? Just amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. And it just helps me, remain grounded as well. Someone asked me last night in the podcast, it was, um, do I kind of think about alcohol or anything like that anymore? And I was like, to be honest, not really. It's not big. It's not. It'll pop in every now and then I'll be like, yeah, but it won't. It's not like I'm thinking, oh, right, I need to get down the shop. Do you know what I mean? That those days are kind of long gone, and they do
Yeah.
get there. And I'd love to get you back on, once you hit a year, to kind of just see where you're at, and I'm sure you'll
Yeah.
just be kind of going from strength to strength. So, what advice would you give to anyone that was kind of just in the same situation as you, but obviously just starting out, not even got a day yet, and they're just kind of hankering after getting sober and clean?
I would say just keep going and believe in yourself.
Hmm.
Really believe in yourself. Drugs and alcohol make you feel this big and make you not believe in yourself, and you don't believe that you can get better. Honestly, believe you can get better because life after that, once you get the other side, is just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big lie in my mind, this whole social kind of socially accepted kind of pastime that especially this country's just rampant with it. And now, like, the people, well, even when I went to uni, I went back to uni when I was 32, so what's that, about 15 years ago, and 13 years ago. And the people that I wouldn't expect to be taking drugs, like, they enjoyed a drink, but the people that I
Yeah.
wouldn't be expecting to take drugs were taking drugs. And they were
Mm,
like 18, 19, and it was because it was uni, it was
yeah.
experimentation, and it's just, do you know what I mean? Cocaine in the 80s was like, they used to say it was the yuppie drug because no one could afford it. And I know it's still expensive, but people make the money, and they go and spend it on that.
Oh,
And
at the moment, it's an absolute epidemic here.
yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, absolutely. Everyone, it's like, and you see all these memes on Instagram, and it's like, 1 pint in, who's getting the bags in?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that, and it's like,
yeah,
ugh. So people see
yeah.
that, and it's just encouraging them. So
And definitely that's like my generation as well, as unfortunately. You can see
yeah,
it one.
and it
Yeah.
could be that they're not drinking as much, but then they're taking more cocaine. I don't know, and that's, I was talking about the figures the other night. All the illicit drugs together, the globally in 2023, all the illicit drugs in the world, I think it was something like 400,000 deaths worldwide.
Yeah.
But that's all the drugs. So that's including, like, I don't know, like fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamine, crack, cocaine,
Yeah.
everything. But then alcohol on top of that was 1.8 million. So it's a huge ramp up. And I was talking with the people at Motivate, and you know, drugs are obviously a massive problem, but I think they're a massive problem because the cartels are still running the show. You know what I mean? I think to start decriminalizing drugs is going to start taking it out of the black market's hand. And it doesn't seem, and I think it might not seem as enticing a thing if it's free and available. Do you know what I mean? Not free, but like
Yeah.
ready available. I don't think it's going to have the same kind of draw as, oh, we're doing something naughty here. That was
Yeah.
definitely the buzz that I got at the beginning. It was like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's the kind of next stage because once you start taking it out of the cartel's hands, there's not all this shady shit that goes on behind the doors with drug dealing and all that, and
Yeah.
it's
We
all
get it
that
here.
county line stuff is crazy.
Yeah, you get it here. You get people being stabbed, and
Yeah,
just for the fact that it's about drugs and someone being on someone else's sales turf or something, it's always like about that. It's always
yeah.
about money and the drugs, and it's such a shame
But
that
because
uh,
the grown-ups who are like controlling it all, they don't want to get caught. So they put the 14 and 15-year-olds in because they're underage. So they're
yeah,
all out there running around, stabbing each other. And it's like,
yeah,
yeah, as you say, it's this
no,
epidemic levels and it's
yeah,
sad.
it
But
is.
the government is still happy to be the major drug dealer in alcohol. It's like, where are they
Yeah,
going to start realizing that what's the main issue and what's not? I don't know. It's a whole debate,
no,
but
that's true. They just can't let go of the tax bit, can they? But
no. But does it
what?
but does it weigh out the amount that it's costing the NHS every year, and
Yeah,
tobacco as well? Like I don't know if you're a smoker, I used to be,
oh,
and
yeah,
it's like,
all together.
yeah, yeah, I'd like sitting in a pub with a fag and a pint and a short to go with it. It's like,
Yeah,
but like the two biggest killers are the two legal ones. It's
yeah,
insane.
it
Yeah,
is. It is crazy. It is
yeah,
really. It
yeah,
is really crazy, actually. You only
yeah.
think,
But
yeah,
we can only keep banging the drum, Ashton, and that's what we can do. So tell me, do you regret getting sober and clean, Ashton?
never, never, ever for a second didn't take me a single pause. Never,
Never. Yeah. And
never.
do you definitely
Uh,
feel that something's changed this time and that this is it? I mean,
yeah,
obviously one day at a time and never say never, but do you feel that shift?
honestly, something clicked in me that said, no, I don't want to feel like it anymore.
Yeah.
And I knew last year when I went on holiday and when I did that to myself that I was that I wasn't going to, or that something had shifted in me then, but something shifted extra. And I was speaking to my brother the other day, and he said, "Do you ever think you'll drink again?" And I said, "I don't think at the moment. I feel like I don't think I want even a glass of champagne on my wedding day.
Mhm.
Just just don't want to trigger any of the negativity that got put with it in my life. I just
Yeah.
want to be free of it. And at the
Yeah.
moment I am, and it's amazing. But yeah, like you said, day by day, get to the end of the day. You
Yeah.
can't always it is forever, but it's good to still think I don't want to do this at
I
all.
love I love Gary Mayer's mantra. I don't know if you know if you follow Sober and Sound. He says, "Get to midnight, go again," and
Oh
it's
yes,
just it's so
got some,
simple.
yeah.
I need to buy one of his T-shirts because they're
Oh
up for
yeah.
sale now. He's an
I
amazing guy.
have,
Yeah. Somebody said to me a while back, I think I was maybe a year or two sober, and he's a good friend. And back in the day, we used to go out and get smashed, go mad benders. And he said, "Do you think you'll ever have a drink again?" And I said, "Well," I said, at that point, I was like, never say never and one day at a time and all that. And now I'm like, no, I'm never going to have a drink again. But I said to him, if there was a if there's a 0.01%, I said I'd probably go out tonight and have a beer, and I have one beer and that'd be fine. But I said if there's a 0.1% chance that if I had a beer by next Wednesday I'd be back where I was, then why would I want to take that chance? For what? What is that one beer or glass of wine going to do for me? And I said the actual real reality is that it's probably 99.9% chance that I'd be back to where I was. So
yeah.
I don't want to be back to where I was. So yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's
Ashton,
another.
have you read any kind of quit lit that you want to recommend to the listeners, or a film that I know you're still early days, you might not have kind of delved into that world, or if there's a film about recovery that you've seen that you want to recommend?
Tell you what, I've read the Russell Brand recovery book,
Oh yeah,
and as well as
controversially.
yeah, yeah, as well as being it's about a bit of a
It is a
His
good
way
book. I
was,
read it when I was in rehab, and it is a great
yeah,
book.
it's
Yeah,
very funny. It takes the edge off it, doesn't it, of it all
yeah.
being doom and gloom. I read that. It's really good. I've also been, working on myself a bit as well, and I've been reading like a book called Let Them by Mel Robbins, and that's got ways to deal with other people in
Hmm.
their drink and what to do about it and how to help them, which also you can relate back to yourself. That one's really good.
And what was it
Um,
called again? Sorry.
Let Them by Mel Robbins. Mel
Let
Robbins,
them. Right.
big on podcast at the moment. She's really good.
Yeah. Cool.
Uh, I was trying to think of that film with Mila Kunis. It's amazing. That
Oh,
I watched that and I had a right cry with that because it hit home. Another day. I
it's
don't want to go.
yeah. What is it? I watched that not that well. It was maybe a couple of years ago now,
Yeah,
and she absolutely looks ravaged, doesn't
yeah.
she?
That and
Um,
I'm so sorry that I don't know the name of it because it really touched it, really hit something for me. But that is a really, really good film. Really, really good.
I'm just looking it up now. Uh, just talk amongst yourselves, people. Is it 4 Good Days?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and it's about her and her mother, and yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like she could have won it. I don't think she was even nominated for an Oscar for that, but her performance in that was just unbelievable. I'd forgotten about
yeah.
that film. That is a brilliant film. Good shout. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, brilliant.
I quite related to the story of it. Of no matter how much help they give you, you can't do it until you do it yourself, and that's what the let them part reminded me of. It's
Yeah.
it's sad as it is, someone that's in this stage of addiction or anything like that, you can't unless you put them in rehab, and sometimes that can't help.
Hmm.
You you have to let them do it
Yeah,
until they're ready. You
yeah.
can still love them, of course. That's what it is in the book. You can still love them, but you have to let them
Let
to
them
do
do
it.
their yeah, and that's it. You've got to do it for yourself, no one else. I made the mistake of trying to get sober for other people at the beginning, and I wasn't doing it for myself, and it's the last selfish thing
Yeah,
that I think we do in addiction.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's when you end up letting everyone else down and feeling worse, isn't it? When you do it for someone else,
yeah,
you when you're not ready yourself, you just feel even more guilt and end up doing it more, which is
mhm,
crazy because we use alcohol and drugs as any coping mechanism for anything we learn in the end. So you do end up using more and feeling worse and everything. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, totally agree. Is there anything else you want to say to the listeners before we go? Where can we
Oh well,
find
yeah.
you on Instagram? Well, I'll put all the details in the kind of in the show notes, but yeah, where can we find you?
I am a teetotal bar manager.
That's it.
Uh,
It's an awesome name. It just stuck out at me
Thank
when
you.
when you popped
The
up. I was
irony.
like, it's awesome.
I love it. I
Yeah,
just came up with it. Just the irony was thought was just brilliant, and
yeah,
so many people say to me, how do you work behind the bar
yeah,
as bad as you used to be,
yeah,
and not drink?" And
yeah,
honestly, I just can't do it to myself, and that's
yeah.
that.
You've
Yeah,
you've turned that corner, Ashton, and your life
yeah,
is just getting better and better. And in 15 days, you're going to be 6 months sober. So
yeah.
well done, well done.
Thank,
Um,
thank you so much.
amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for giving up your time and evening to come on after hours. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you. So, yeah, yeah, we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Ashton. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Ashton, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. First and foremost, the fact that you still work behind a bar is just so commendable. I don't think I could do it. Would I want to do it? Probably not. And could I do it now? I probably would, but I don't think I'd enjoy it anymore because I'm so far away from alcohol, and maybe you'll get to that point or not, that I just hate alcohol at this point, and kind of what it does to people. So you may get to that point and you may not, and that's cool. But for now, the fact that you can do that and stand behind that bar and serve drinks and not be tempted is just amazing. But I guess that comes from a lot of young people that I've spoken to. They know that they're still steeped in that world at that age, but they just cannot drink. I kind of removed myself from that life kind of almost entirely. But young people still, if they want to socialise, have to be still caught up in that kind of world. Albeit you saying it's kind of a bit of an old man's pub, but it's still that kind of world. So again, kudos to you for being able to do that. Yeah, just all the things that you did, to try and get yourself out was just, you didn't want to give up. And well, when this is released, when people are listening to it, you'll be over your 6 months bracket. So again, well done to you. And yeah, as I say, I'd love to have you back on the podcast when you hit a year. So I'll be following you on the Instagram, and following your successes. So yeah, well done, and thanks for coming on. Yeah, all good in Jimmy land. As I say, I've just been doing a lot of podcasts recently. I think I had 3 this week, so I've just been kind of trying to catch up and edit them, and not let them all build up. I think in my old jobs, and possibly even going back to like school and uni, I used to just let stuff build up, and then it just became like breaking point. I didn't know where to start or where to begin. I guess with sobriety and educating myself and developing myself as a person, I don't like to leave things to the last minute and then let them build up. So I'm just getting ahead of it, just getting ahead of the curve, because I know I've got more podcasts coming up, and I don't want to sit with 10 episodes waiting to edit, because although I listen to them, I'll be so far removed from when I had the conversation that I'll be missing out on bits that I want to kind of talk about in the outros and the intros. So yeah, it's all about good housekeeping, and that's one thing we got to do, is keep our side of the street clean, and everything else should fall into place. So yeah, I just need to get my arse into gear and start writing my book. I mean, it started, but I've not really kind of been focusing on it recently, I guess, with the podcasts, but and also the marriage coming up, the wedding coming up. So I do need to get on it, but maybe I'll this is it. See, I'm putting it off again. I'll put that as a kind of winter project. No, it's going to be a bit of a summer project as well. I'm going to get back into it. Once I get into it, I know there'll be flow, and I'll keep it going. I've been currently building a website which is called After Hours with JimmyThistle.com. I'm going to check that. I haven't like kind of started sharing it yet, because it's still kind of in the editing phase, but you can find the first couple of chapters in my book on there. So if people want to kind of start having a look at that, then let me know. But as I say, it's still under construction, so it's still got a few things that I need to change in it, but we'll get to that. But yeah, everything else is good. I hope you guys are well too. So hit the 5-star review, 1 if you want, and let me know. Write a review on the podcast platform. As always, I love the comments people put on Instagram, but transfer it over. Give us a shout out on the podcast. Spotify, you can do it each individual episode. So if you like an episode, pop it on there. With Apple, which are the main 2 that I use, you just kind of comment, broadly on the whole podcast, the whole series of episodes. So yeah, try and do that if you can. But until next week, stay safe, stay supportive, and stay sober. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.